Hi, y'all, and welcome to Monday night's All Meta Mode podcast with Gypsy, myself, Amanda Digger DeGaz, and we have special guest Stephanie Inskeep. She has a YouTube channel, Ancient Adventures. So before we bring Stephanie on and find out a lot more about her treasure hunting, Gypsy, how are you holding up, doll?
Hey, I'm doing okay. It's been a rough day. Most of you probably already know that. Well, I just got back from Florida, and um, yes, yesterday evening, my my dog Lucky passed away, and it's been a really rough day today. But I'm making it. It's it's she was a member of our family, and
Yeah.
it's just really hard. And she used to go on a lot of my metal detecting adventures with me. And if you go back in some of my YouTube videos, you can find Lucky in several of my YouTube videos on some of the adventures with me. And so maybe soon I'll do that. Um, maybe go back and look at some of those videos and remember my sweet Lucky, because she always brought me luck, on some of my adventures. But she was getting old and she had some health issues, and so I guess it was time. So, but anyway, on another note, I just got back from Florida. I did a little bit of first videoing while I was there, and so hopefully soon I'll be uploading a video from my Florida travels and show you some of my finds. Took
Nice.
the Apex with me and found a few interesting things. I guess the most interesting thing I found, which was a first for me, this time I found some earbuds
Huh.
that were still in like that little ear pod. And when I got back, got all the sand out, got them cleaned up, and plugged them in, they're still working. So that was pretty cool. Um,
Nice. That's always a good thing.
so yeah.
Those are expensive
So
too.
anyway, those are. It's funny because um, you know I was thinking when I found those on the beach how much things have changed from the past 23 years since I've been metal detecting. And when I first got started metal detecting, and then I ended up moving to Galveston Island, and I detected on the beaches a lot there. It was interesting. I remember I used to find a lot more coins back then than you do now, because a lot of people don't carry as much change on them as they used to. Um, you have debit cards now, and so many people use that kind of money exchange where they don't carry as much on themselves anymore. Still find, relatively a lot of jewelry, but it's weird because you would have never found ear pods,
Yeah.
back 23 years ago. They didn't make them. And cell phones is another thing that has changed. Find a lot of cell phones, find a lot of those little vapes on the beach and in the water in the river. Also, a couple of years ago, I found one of those speakers, one of those LBG, what do you call them? I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, some a Bluetooth speaker
Oh yeah.
that
Yep.
was waterproof. You know what I'm talking about. I found one
Mhm.
in the river, and I ended up giving it to my son. He still uses it. It's a $200 or more speaker. So it's amazing, where the different things that you find that how kind of treasure has changed too. Another thing that has changed is I used to find more gold, and then now you tend to find more silver. Starting to find a little bit more gold again, but a lot of people don't wear as much gold as they used to, back in the 90s, and
Hmm.
or you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, that's just some of my thoughts when I was on the beach this time, metal detecting, and when I found those earbuds. Um, but anyway, enough about me. Tell us a little bit about you. Were you able to get out and do some metal detecting or dump digging, mudlarking, any kind of bottle digging?
I did it all this weekend.
You
Friday,
did?
Friday I went mudlarking. I actually found a silver swallow pin or brooch. And then the all
Ooh,
metal militia guys, Jim, Joe, and Ed drove to Maine to detect with John and I, and so did Laura. She came up and we hit the fields all day on Saturday, and oh man, it was hot. And then
oh,
Sunday, I brought them to one of my mudlarking spots and bottle digging areas. So we did that all
uh-huh.
morning, and then we went and detected another new field Sunday afternoon into the evening. So I'm burnt out
Wow.
today. Burnt out. I got to see gold, silver, 2 cent piece, couple Indian head pennies. I got a crotobell myself, which is actually
Ooh,
it's white metal. It's the like toneback type metal. So, and it's got petals.
really?
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. I really wasn't hitting it too hard. Fields were kind of higher, and yeah, you have people up, you hope that they find things. So,
Right.
um,
True.
but
That's
yeah,
awesome. You found a 2 cent piece?
John did.
Or,
Yep, he found a 2 cent
oh,
piece.
John did.
Yep.
Awesome. Well,
Yes.
cool. Who
Yeah. No,
found gold?
yeah, I didn't find Jim found gold. Jim found
Okay.
silver. Joe found a bunch of Indian head pennies. Ed actually found this like old padlock, but it's a little one, and the little swivel brass front plate has a sunburst on it. It's so cool. It's so cool.
Oh, oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, but
Wow, well, it sounds like y'all had fun.
yeah, it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend. So let's welcome our guest and welcome Stephanie to the show. Everyone, give Stephanie a warm welcome. I don't know if she's in chat or not, but I know there's a lot of people in chat. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't know if I was supposed to be quiet that whole time or not, so I just kind of sat here.
Sorry, we kind of tend to ramble on at the
That's
beginning.
okay.
But
That,
thanks for hanging
comeback,
in there.
yeah, no problem. No problem. I was just listening to all the finds over the weekend. That is one thing I have not found is the croto bell. I don't know why. Maybe they got to be around here, but I have just never come across one. And then to find a tomback one, I don't think I've even seen one. I mean, I'm sure I can find one online, but I don't think I've seen like anyone dig one ever. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, they call it white metal. So I always considered it's like Tomback. You know how it's got that shine?
Right.
Shiny,
That the
yeah.
dirt came right off. It almost looks like silver. That it's so neat.
Wow. Oh, well,
Pretty
both
cool.
of those things are still on my bucket list. So,
Yeah, a 2 cent piece. That's
living way
another
down
thing I've
here.
never done.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I've got so many that I've got to check off my bucket list. Living over here in Texas, it's tough.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's always something that, it's hard for someone to find. Like, when I first started digging for fossils about 9 years ago, shark's teeth, I absolutely love sloths. I just think they're cool. And back in the Ice Age, the sloths were like the size of trees. And everybody I've been around has found fossils, sloth teeth. My boyfriend's
Really?
my boyfriend's son found a entire sloth claw, it's really rare. It's probably the best find he's ever made. It's worth a ton of money. But anyway, long story short, everyone has found sloth. I cannot seem to find a piece of sloth. That is my white whale.
Wow.
But someday I'm hoping. Yeah, that's pretty neat. there's so much stuff to find here in South Carolina. And it crosses over with metal detecting because several times metal detecting, I've been out and I'll be digging holes and I found shark's teeth metal detecting.
Wow,
because of the fossil
really?
layer. Isn't that crazy?
That is insane. Yeah, that reminds me. Sorry, that was just reminded me of last week, or before I went, or I guess it was the week before. I was digging in a dump and I found a fossilized sea urchin, and that was really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Find quite a few fossils here in Texas. So if you ever want to come fossil hunting, you're more than welcome. I could show you some really cool places around here. So
yeah, I actually I researched it there. I actually flew down there myself one time, and we went fossil hunting for actinoids and what else? And ammonites and the shark's teeth, the Tychotus teeth and all kinds of Cretaceous teeth. But yeah, I love Texas. I definitely would like to go back again. I've only been down there that one time, but there's stuff all over there to find.
There definitely is a lot of fossils. Yeah, I grew up fossil hunting way before I got into metal detecting. My dad used to take me fossil hunting when I was a kid, and I think that's really cool about the sloth. Sloth is one of my favorite little animals as well. They're just so unique, and they just seem so sweet.
They do. I know. I've never met one. Yeah, I've never met one, but I've always I want to go to there's a place here that you can pay and go hang out with them for an hour. And I keep saying I'm going to do it, but I haven't done it yet. I need to do that. I think it'd be fun.
That is so cool. Yeah, I think that would be amazing. But tell us, what got you interested in metal detecting?
Well, like I said, I'm actually from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and it's kind of a long story, but I'll try and make it short. One week on TV, there was Shark Week on TV, and they're talking about finding megalodon teeth, and I'm in Michigan. I'm like, what? I had no idea about shark's teeth. I'm like, this is crazy. And my husband at that time, we had just bought a place in Port Charlotte, Florida. And so the next time we went down there, I went on this tour, and I found a megalodon tooth digging in the river, and the rest is history. I was addicted. I loved it. dig, nonstop. I'd go there every other month for 2 weeks and dig, and then I'd come home and work 7 days a week nonstop, get all my clients in, and then go back down there. And then eventually I started coming to South Carolina digging for shark's teeth. And then after my husband and I divorced, I just said, you know what, I'm just going to move down there. So I moved down here to South Carolina and for digging for fossils, and that's how I met my boyfriend, Kim, digging for shark's teeth. And so we always drive by this field here in town. There's only one field left because, they're building everywhere. And I'm like, I got to get permission out there. I bet you there's arrowheads out there. And one day the old man was out there, and so I ran up to him and asked him permission. He's like, oh, there's nothing out there, but yeah, you can go out there. And I'm like, okay, cool. That field was loaded. That's
really?
There was arrowheads. There was a 1600s house, old plantation. The British were camped out there. But that's the place that got me into metal detecting. Because I was walking looking for arrowheads, and I could see all these nails on the ground in colonial pipes and ceramic and Indian trade beads. And it was like, oh my gosh, I got to get a metal detector. And I was just thinking about, well, that year for Christmas, I bought my boyfriend a Garrett AT Pro, and he bought me a Garrett AT Max, and neither one of us knew that we got each other a metal detector. I just figured if he didn't give me one, I was going to go buy one. But come to find out, we bought each other detectors, and then we went out to that field. And, that field had been hunted for 25 years. And my boyfriend found a piece of a cut 8 out there. Walking to the car, he's like, oh, I think I found something. He shows me. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then he stopped going out there because he wasn't finding anything. But I kept going out there because I just started. This was 2 years ago. And eventually I found a cob, silver half real cob. And that was the first coin I found, yeah. A half real cob. I was so excited. Yeah.
That was your first coin? Oh, my God.
Yeah, because I kept going out to that field, and there's nothing. Well, I did find one modern penny out there, but that was after the cob. So there was nothing modern out there. It was all old stuff. But, I mean, you had to have patience because, like I said, it had been hunted for 25 years before I started hunting it. And then, I ended up finding an Indian trade earring out there, and I found this tiny bead on the surface as I was going down to dig my target, and under the bead was this silver, like, hoop-looking thing. And at the time, I didn't know for sure, but I'm like, if this bead fits this silver thing, it's got to be an earring. So whatever, I got home, and I looked it up, and sure enough, that's what it was. It was an Indian trade earring. And, yeah, I was so excited. But to make the fun story come to an end, they sold that field, and I got kicked out of that field this year because they're developing it and putting houses there.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? I hunted that field. In between my permissions, like if I didn't have anywhere to go, I would just go to that field. Because there really wasn't a ton left, unless he plowed it, which was only like once a year. But, yeah, it's sad. It's sad to see that field go. Because it was the only one left in town, really. But what are you going to do?
Any way to talk to the developers to see if they'll, there's a chance you could...
I'm watching. As soon as they start moving dirt over there, I'll be up on it, trust me. Yeah, I am going to try, because that'll be my last chance, because it won't take them long, and there'll be houses everywhere. I know that. Yeah. If it wasn't multi-millions of dollars, we would have actually probably tried to buy that property, but it's a lot of acres on a river, so it's a lot of money. Oh, well, what are you going to do? But I got some good stuff out of it. That's how I got into metal detecting, was that field, basically. It was pretty cool.
Wow. Awesome. Well, I have noticed some of your posts. It looks like you've been finding quite a bit of cool stuff. So, what's some of the interesting items that you found since that cob?
Well, one of the things that, a lot of people come to Charleston for is the Charleston slave tags. And you can only find them in Charleston because they made them out of, like, this copper brass material here. And so every once in a while you can find them. And I guess in different states they made them out of paper or whatever. They didn't hold up. So that's why you can only find them here. And I have been fortunate enough, including the video I put up today, to find 6 slave tags so far. And yeah, I know, pretty crazy. And my boyfriend finally just found one. He gets so mad. I go so much. He's so much more luckier. Like in shark tooth hunting, he can find big megs. He trips over them basically. And so metal detecting, I'm a little better than him, and so he gets a little frustrated. But I go a lot more, so I should be finding more.
Right? Definitely.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, I do. It's probably one of my it's a terrible part of history, but for this area, it is history, and it's something I feel like if I find one, I need to preserve it and like give that person, whoever had to wear it and had to go through all that, I want to at least give them the respect of preserving it and putting it in a frame, and kind of honoring them. That's how I look at it. And I'm sure not everyone looks at it like that, but that's kind of how I look at it.
I think that's a great honor.
Yeah.
It is. Wow. That's cool. Well, I know a lot of people, that's on a lot of people's bucket list. I myself would like to find one as well someday. But it's an ugly part of history. But, man, it's unfortunately it is a part of history, and that's what we do, is we help preserve history and preserve these items. And hopefully we can learn from the past. So.
Exactly. You definitely have to learn from the past. And when I started finding these slave tags, obviously I was doing more and more research on them. And there's a really good book written by, I can't think of his name, but it's a big book. It's just about slave tags. And It talks about how some of them were actually, as weird as it sounds, glad that they could have a slave tag because that was like their license to do something. Like the last tag I found was a fisher slave tag, which means, they're a fisherman or fisherwoman, and that's what they did, and they were good at it. And other plantations would hire these other slaves because they know they're really good at doing this stuff, and they could make more money. And it's funny because back in the day, evidently, us white folks, the guys didn't really like it because these slaves would outwork them, and people wanted to hire them over lazy people. So some of it is good, but obviously the overall it's not something we should ever do again, that's for sure. But so there's a lot of other stuff here. I mean, there's old coins and British coins. I found a USA button. That was a surprise. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
That's awesome. I don't have good luck finding things in perfect condition. It seems like I always got to get them restored. I will say that. Yeah. My boyfriend, he found a rattlesnake button. Oh my goodness, it came out of the ground perfect. Like it just fell off. And, I'll find my USA button, and if I look at it wrong, it's going to fall apart, literally. So it's all right, though. But, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff here.
Now, so on top of fossil hunting, metal detecting, arrowhead hunting, did I see you also hunt for, crystals and stuff, too?
I do, yeah. That started by taking a trip up to, there's a place called Diamond Hill Mine here, and they have amethyst crystals, and you can go pay it's $20 or something, and you can go down into this big pit and, just dig for crystals and whatever you find. I mean, you can load up the back of your truck if you want.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's how it started. And then we went to Arkansas and dig for quartz crystals, and we came home with a truck full of quartz crystals. Wow. It had so many. It's crazy. It's crazy how many crystals are out there. Metal detecting, you can do it a long time, and you have stuff, but it's not like crystal collecting. You go out and you can find thousands of things you bring home, and it's I'm running out of space. Geodes, they take up so much space, but they're so cool.
I had to start.
On your geodes. Go ahead.
I researched that, and I went to Kentucky, and there's certain creeks in Kentucky you can go in, and I mean they are laying everywhere. It's crazy. It's it's just the farmers don't want them. They're just a hassle. So sometimes they'll lay them out by the road, and you can just go take them. And they're everywhere.
That's awesome.
I'll have to talk to you about that. I'll give you a spot to go to. And yeah, it's fun.
We've got quite a few places like that up here, and as a kid going to New York to the Herkimer diamond mines, and like you said, you run out of space. So what I've done is, how people have the raised flower beds and gardens. I've basically taken, I've got amethyst, giant chunks of quartz and fossils, and basically those are making my walls around the gardens.
we just started a process in the backyard. I took out a whole row of bushes. This is what a hoarder I am. I took out all these bushes, and I'm like, I don't have time to clean them up anyway. So we pulled them all out, and I'm like, we're doing a whole line. All of our crystals and geodes we're just going to put out there against the fence because we have no more room in this house. Like, it's crazy how much stuff we have. And so we're going to do a whole pass in the backyard and just put all of our crystals out there. Well, except for the really, really good ones,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
But like the geodes and stuff, they can go out there. The Herkimer diamonds, that's on my list. I've never done that. Those look fun to dig.
That is fun. And if you go after rain and pockets have emptied, you'll find little ones just sitting on top of the ground. Kind of like when you do the cornfields or you go out after it rains, you can find things right on top because the rain basically washes the dirt off. Same thing with the Herkimer diamonds. It's a lot of fun.
Really?
Oh, that's cool.
I think there was
I've been.
You go ahead.
I was just going to say I've been to the Diamond Crater in Arkansas. First, I think I went there with my grandparents, and then later in life I got to go again. I never had any luck there, but I know someone that had went out there, and right after a rain, they found a 1-carat diamond and ended up having it made into some a piece of jewelry. Had it set in a ring, so that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I haven't been there, but that's on the list to do too. It looks really fun.
It's a lot of fun. It is, and they have. If you find a diamond, you go show it to the people to let them know they confirm that that's what it is, and you get to ring a little bell, and so you hear this bell ringing several times during the day while you're there. People that have found a diamond. Pretty cool.
That's neat. Yeah, that's fun. So it sounds like the three of us are all the same. Like, basically, if we see anything shiny, we're picking it up.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That is for sure.
We had a couple questions in chat. So Tim wanted to know, who does your restoration work?
Leonard Short. And he's very good. He takes a while, so if you send him something, sometimes it takes months to get it back. But honestly, he's the best around, and that's who every guy around here that I know that digs, that's who they use too. Everybody. That's the only person I really know that even does restoration work. I think there's one other guy, but Leonard Short is who everybody I know uses.
That's awesome. And then Bill wanted to know, and you can skirt around this if you don't want to tell where you're hunting, but he wondered if you were hunting the Charleston area.
Yeah, I am hunting the Charleston area.
Awesome.
When I Yep, Charleston, North Charleston, South Charleston, Middle Charleston, all around Charleston. I hit it all. You got to keep checking. There's so many people that hunt here, and I mean, if you don't find a site right away, someone's going to find it. So you have to be on your game and just keep researching and keep asking permissions. I mean, I get a lot of no's, but every once in a while you get a yes. In fact, I'm a dog groomer, and a couple of weeks ago I groomed this guy's dog for him for free. It was a 17-year-old Yorkie, and I groomed it for free for him. And he happens to manage 5,000 acres of hunting area around here. And so when I brought his dog back, he gave me the key to all the gates. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh,
thank you. Yeah, it is a little bit of cheese because now it's hunting season for half the year. But once hunting season's over, I will be making my way into some of those sites.
Definitely. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was pretty shocked on that. That's the first time that's ever happened.
So, what would you consider like your craziest or strangest find that you've found so far?
Well, I was thinking about that, like creepiest finds. I can't think of anything that was really creepy, but I'd say like maybe the rarest thing I found was an eagle button that nobody can figure out what it is. They've never seen one, so it's one of a kind. It's either one of the
Really?
first. Yeah, they think it's either one of the first renditions of the Great Seal or a new variety of a George Washington button. It was definitely 1700s. And
Yeah.
so, that's one that was in the American Digger magazine. And like, I talked to the top guys, the big button guys, and no one had ever seen one. So that was pretty cool.
Wow.
It does too. It looks like a little bit of the chicken hawk, but a little bit more of the eagle. If those that hadn't seen it, it's the picture of you in the middle of the advertisement, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an epic find.
Well,
They're gonna
now I
have to
gotta go
make
look at that.
Yeah, they're gonna have to make new
I'm gonna zoom
versions
in.
to add it to the button
Yeah.
books.
And when I found it, like I said, I don't have the best of luck with finding things in great condition. I started cleaning it. It was actually a button I had sitting out in the garage next to my table here. And I walked by it one day. I'm like, I'm going to finally clean that button. And then I started to see the eagle, and I posted it on the ID Me thing on Facebook because I didn't want to ruin it or do anything. And everyone's like, that's a George Washington. It has to be. So I sent it to Leonard Short to, finish cleaning it and making it look good because I didn't want to risk hurting it at all. And then he's like, Stephanie, this is a good button. He's like, I've never seen one like this. And when he said that, I knew. I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. I'm so glad I got it
Wow.
restored. I could have easily just kind of left it as is and just thought, oh, it's just, it's cool, George Washington, but what I could see, it definitely isn't what it is. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I got it done.
Yeah, you're, being able to hold back from actually doing anything else to it and sending it out is, amazing willpower.
Yeah.
But knowing that you have something that, you're not quite sure of, yeah, absolutely, you did the right thing. Because I know in my case, like I probably would have destroyed it, and then, after the fact's been like, what did I do?
Right.
I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of us. Yeah, there's a lot of us out there, I think, that are into the whole cleaning and
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, that's the thing about metal detecting that's different than fossil hunting, arrowhead hunting, crystal hunting. There are so many things that you have to learn about cleaning these relics. And, everyone has a different idea how to clean something. If you ask a question how to clean a button, you will get 50 different answers.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
I think that you definitely just have to keep doing it and figure out your own way over time, I guess, because I've only been detecting 2 years, and I've learned a lot in 2 years, but I'm clueless when it comes to knowing exactly the right way how to clean everything.
I've taken a lot of junk, you just get the normal flat buttons and things like that, and I've tested with them. And then, certain coins you can go, there's either people have coin places or pawn stores, and then I think you can get stuff off eBay too. If they've got junky coins and whatnot, and if you don't want to touch any of yours, I know I've done that. I've grabbed some from the coin guy to try to see if I can do something with it before I touch, because I find those Civil War tokens. Now, have you found any of those in Michigan when you were out there, or?
I actually didn't start detecting until
You were in South Carolina.
I moved down here
Gotcha.
5 years ago, and I started detecting 2 years ago. So I have not found. I've never even detected in my home state yet. When I went home for Christmas, I went home for Christmas, and I brought my detector and my shovel. I'm like, I'm digging through the snow. I don't even care. And I got home, and I could not get my shovel through the ice and snow. I'm like, what was I thinking? Get this through. So I could not dig. So I am going to dig. I have, like, old clients and friends. I have a friend that has a mansion in downtown Grand Rapids that's, like, from the 1800s, and no one's detected it, and she said I can detect it. So I definitely have some sites to check off the list when I do go home to do it. But,
awesome.
It's so good here. It's hard to leave this to go to Michigan to detect.
Yeah.
But
that's great, though. Yeah, that button is epic. Epic.
It is. I just zoomed in and on that photo, and yeah, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it does have that George Washington look, but yet it's different.
Yeah, it definitely is. I also found an 8 Miravettes. Is that how you say it? The copper cobs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And of course, it's not in great shape either, and so it's just kind of sitting in this jar, or not in a jar, in this little. I guess it's a little jar, but because I don't know what to do with it next, and everyone I've asked has told me something different, and the guy that actually cleaned the Oak Island one, I talked to him about it, and he's like, well, just put it in distilled water. So I bought the distilled water, and this was like 6 months ago, and it's still sitting there, and I'm too afraid to do it. I have to do it, though.
Yeah,
because I'm like, those are so rare to find. I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever find another one. And you can see the 8 on it, so I know that's what it is.
Wow.
So I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you could be on sites here there's trash everywhere. And then all of a sudden, like one of my slave tags, like there's literally modern trash everywhere, but they moved a little bit of dirt somewhere. And that night I told my boyfriend, like, you want to go up and check that dirt real quick? And he's like, nah, you can. And I went up there and the slave tag.
Wow.
He about had a heart attack when I come back and told him that. But I said, I offered for you to go up there. But it's just crazy. That's how it is here, though. You got to check the dirt. It might be in a spot you think there's no way, there's nothing there. But every once in a while, like one of my USA buttons, I was in the middle of modern trash, too. But it was an old road.
Wow.
There it was. Crazy.
Incredible. So I guess, I know you haven't been detecting all that long, but, and it doesn't have to be a metal detecting. Amanda and I usually like to ask if you have like a favorite treasure hunting story, maybe something crazy that happened to you when you're out digging or metal detecting. Just it could be funny, it could be, scary, something that might have happened when you were out on one of your adventures.
Oh, gosh. I mean, I got I can't really. Yeah, I have some stories, but I don't know if I should tell them. But I will tell. One time we were out detecting, my boyfriend and I, and all of a sudden these hogs came out of nowhere. And people told me that, like, they'll straight up chase you down, and I never knew that, but then I seen them and they started coming towards us. So we literally had to run out of the site, and my boyfriend sprained his ankle. And I was wondering why he was like running like he's getting chased by the cops. And I'm like, dude, they're like way behind us. Why are you running so fast? He's like, they're going to get us, And then we get back to the car and he shows me his ankle. I'm like, did you sprain your ankle? And he's like, yeah. So I thought it was hilarious. I guess it's not that funny, but that's one of my funny stories. I mean, I fall down all the time, though, when I'm out detecting or, looking for arrowheads. It's been raining so much here that in between the rows, when you're out looking for arrowheads, like the rows in between can be filled with water. And last week I was trying to get out of the field and I stepped on what I thought was a stump still in the ground. But it was not in the ground. And like I fell down in the water, like almost up to my neck. That was fun.
Oh no.
Sounds like what I've been doing lately too.
Yeah. I do a lot of things like that. I see a lot of snakes here too. And for some reason, like construction sites, I don't know if they're like that there, but they always put those black dividers, when they're doing construction so that the runoff or whatever doesn't go out to the road or the woods. But the black like nylon fence thing, every single time I'm at a construction site, there is a snake next to one of those. I'm not kidding you.
Really?
I don't know why they hang them. But the first time I noticed it, I was putting my leg over a fence and I almost stepped on a copperhead.
Oh.
And so now I always look, and I'm not kidding, like every single time there's a snake next to those fences.
Wow.
I don't know why.
That's crazy. Maybe from the warmth from the black, it's picking up the sun?
That might be. That may actually be. I don't know.
That could be.
Tilt fence, Tim says. Yeah, that makes sense. It's called tilt fence.
Now, I noticed, when you're out metal detecting, you're constantly looking at the ground and whatnot. What is your favorite, like, non-metal item that you find when you're out there metal detecting that might be on the surface?
Probably arrowheads.
Yeah.
I would say arrowheads, yeah. Yeah, or, gosh, Native American trade beads are pretty cool, too.
Yeah, the video you
found those.
posted was it last night or this morning?
This morning, yeah.
The trade bead you found on the surface there it's so cool. Was it square?
It kind of is, yeah. It's like, it's kind of see-through blue. It's hard to see on that video, but yeah, it's a little square. It's kind of a weird shape. But it's crazy. Once you start finding those beads, you can see them a lot better. Like, before I found one, like, obviously I didn't find any. And then all of a sudden I started seeing them. And then you start finding more. And I've seen you find them when you're out in your, like, river spot, right, Amanda?
Yes. Yeah. Yep, when I'm out mudlarking and whatnot.
Yeah. And so now, like, if you go with other people, they probably know how well you can see them because you found so many of them.
Yeah, I think your eyes grow accustomed after a while of finding them. I noticed I took a break for a little while from mudlarking and had been metal detecting, and when I went back out, I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt like I had to retrain myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've only ever found one bead that I'm pretty sure was a Native American trade bead, and that's not far from my house. Actually, in my neighborhood, there's an area where you find a lot. Here where I live, it's a lot of what do you call it? Not sandstone. My brain just it's like a bedrock. What's the word I'm looking for? Gosh. Anyway, I was over here in my neighborhood, and I had found an arrowhead out there before, and I was out there arrowhead hunting, and I found a little bead in the little creek area there, and that's the only one I've ever found. Of course, I found beads while, dump digging and stuff, but not, I don't think they were probably from some type of jewelry, more modern type jewelry and stuff. But that is so cool. Y'all get to find those trade beads a lot. And I really loved your story about that earring that you found, that silver earring with the bead thing on top earlier.
Yeah, that's just crazy. It's crazy that I even seen that bead, because that bead is like the bead I found, a
Tiny.
normal size bead. It's like a tenth of the size of a normal size bead. It's tiny. The fact that I seen it is just crazy. Yeah, it must have been cloudy that day or something, and that's how I seen it. Because normally, you know, down here it's always hot and sunny, but when the sun is just glaring at you, you could be right over something and not see it. But that day I seen it.
That is so cool. Amazing find.
Yeah, another thing I found in that field was glass that had been worked. You know, like an arrowhead is, you know, worked. And, of course, my boyfriend thought I was crazy at first. And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, this stuff is worked. So I started picking it up. And it's old glass, like the olive-colored glass and the dark glass. And I just recently went and met with a curator to confirm it. And they said 100%, yeah, it's definitely worked glass. And they think it's from the slaves that were at the field that I used to hunt. And they think they would work the glass and then use them as tools for whatever they needed them for. And, you know, there was Indians there too. So I think probably the Indians showed them, you know, in the early days how to work the glass or whatever, or that's what they told me. And so that would make sense. But yeah, that stuff was everywhere out there. Everywhere. I have probably 1,000 pieces of it. I'm not even kidding.
Wow.
I picked up so much crap out there. Yeah. Crazy.
That's very cool.
Fun stuff. It's addicting.
So Bill has a question for you. He sees that you scuba dive. So what is your best find diving?
Actually, it sounds kind of dumb, but it's actually a billfish bill, and I need to bring that to the curator because I think it's the biggest one that's ever been found. It's probably longer than my arm. It's a huge bill. And when I found it, of course, my underwater camera broke and I couldn't take video of it. But I thought it was a piece of driftwood down at the bottom of the river. And then I went to pick it up and it was heavy. And I'm like, no way. This is not a billfish bill. And sure enough, I got out of the water and that's what it was. The biggest one anyone's ever seen. And so that's probably my rarest find from scuba diving. But you know, we find arrowheads. I found a whole rat tail spoon this year scuba diving. You know, it's crazy. Before metal detecting, I would have just thought, oh, that's trash, someone threw their spoon out there. But you know, now I know what a rat tail spoon is. I flipped it over and I was like, oh my goodness, this is old. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I found a deer antler point this year scuba diving too. So that's pretty cool. That's my first one of those.
That is cool. So what about bottles? Do you find many bottles while scuba diving?
You know, there's a ton of bottles near the spot that we dive, but most of them are early 1900s. My boyfriend has found 2 South Carolina dispensary bottles in the river. I've never found a whole dispensary bottle. That's on my bucket list. And a gold coin, of course, because everyone has that on their list.
Everybody wants that.
No, I know. I found some fakers. I'll tell you what, I have found some round gold things before, but they're not really coins. They're usually like confetti pieces, but they'll get you.
Right.
Yeah. So because it's been raining so much down here, the river that we go in is way too high to get in. So we've only been able to scuba dive this year like 4 or 5 times. So
really,
if it ever stops raining and the river goes down, then the current will be so strong, then we can get back in the river. But it's way too strong when it's this high.
Wow. Now that's something that's on my bucket list. Is I've found shark's teeth before, but that was like in Galveston. The little bitty, not ancient old shark's teeth like the big ones like you're finding.
Yeah.
I would love to go do that sometime. That would be fun. Have you ever done that, Amanda?
No, I haven't.
You guys come on down. I'll bring you digging for megalodon teeth. You'll
That would
find
be
stuff.
awesome.
And we have angusidin. We have angusidin teeth too, and they can get up to, I'd say, 4.5 inches, about the biggest you can get. But angies are really cool too. In this area in Charleston, the colors here are phenomenal. That's why a lot of people like digging shark's teeth here, because you can get reds and oranges and blues and all different colors. Just depends on where you're at.
Wow.
Yeah, there's always something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking that we need Amanda to go ahead and retire early. We just need to go on these adventures all over.
Yeah.
Oh, man, so many places and things I want to do.
I know, me too. Me too.
Keep playing Powerball.
Yeah, I'd like to go to England and metal-detect there. That'd be fun.
Me too. That's on my bucket list too. I was hoping this year was going to be the year, but with COVID kind of ramping up again, it's off the market again for me.
Yeah.
Sure. But hey, I'm going to Michigan in September, so it must be my first time in Michigan, and I'm going to be looking for float copper. So that'll be something I've never
so
done.
Cool. My friend just found a copper point there last week. And,
really? Oh my God.
That's on my bucket list too. I've never found a copper trade point or kettle point, whatever you want to call them. But is that what you're going looking for, or are you going looking for actual copper?
I'm looking actual copper, but I will say the property that I'm going to be, although it's 1,000+ acres, so.
Is it in the UP or lower?
Upper.
Okay, well, if you're up there, you have a chance of finding one if you're going to detect.
Fingers crossed. I'm hoping, even though that's not what we're looking for, I would love to find that while I'm there. That would be epic. Definitely on my bucket list. But that'd be awesome. Is some like native on part of the property. I'm hoping they'll take me to go see it. Some Native American artwork on some of the cliffs up there, rocks, like.
Oh, cool.
Cliffs. So you never know what you might find.
Yeah, the UP is beautiful. You'll love it up there. It's a beautiful place. I couldn't live there just because it's out in the middle of nowhere, but it is beautiful. And I would love to metal detect up there, honestly, because there are a lot of copper trade points up there. I've heard people finding them left and right.
Awesome. Well, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens.
Well, Stephanie, how can everyone find you? I know I've linked your YouTube a couple times, but can you tell everyone that's not in chat how to find you on social media?
So on YouTube, my name is Ancient Adventures. And then I do have an Instagram, but my name on that is Fossil Diva 1. And then on Facebook, it's just Stephanie Inskeep.
Awesome.
And I'm hoping to start putting more stuff on Instagram. I just need to do it. I mean, I go hunting. I work, and then I work out, and go hunting until dark every single day. And so at night, I try to work on videos or, put my stuff together, and I fall behind. I'm way behind. I'm trying. I'm going to get ahead sometime.
Yeah, it's never good to have.
I'm way behind.
Yeah, it's never bad to have a backlog of stuff to share with everyone.
Yeah, I have
True.
like probably 5 years worth backlog, but that's okay.
5 years. Oh my.
Yeah, I have a lot. I haven't even posted my videos of traveling the United States and hunting yet, but yeah, it's okay.
Wow.
I'll find time to do it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We appreciate you being on the All Metal Mode podcast and sharing some of your adventures with us. And it's, like I said,
Absolutely.
It's great meeting you by not even really virtual. It's just by voice here, but
that's okay.
Informal meeting. But it's great to finally put a voice to the face there, I guess I could say.
Absolutely. And if you guys ever come down here, you know I'll take you both out hunting for something. You will not go home empty-handed.
And Stephanie, is there any chance, are you going to Digstock in New York in October?
You know, I was just talking about that the other day. And as of right this second, no, but I may still be going. I'm not sure yet.
Awesome. Well, if you do, you definitely have to let Gypsy and I know so we can all meet up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Should definitely think
That would
about
be fun. Where's it at? Digstock?
Chazzy.
It's in Chazzy, New York.
Chazzy, New York. That's what I thought.
Chazzy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got you. Well, it's in New York anyways.
Yeah, so look into it. Amanda and I plan on being there and hopefully going on some adventures before or after Digstock. So looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
So yeah, definitely check into that. Well, we appreciate you being on here. Before we close, should we ask one of our crazy questions?
Yeah,
you close with sometimes.
You can go ahead.
Which one?
The no law.
The what?
No laws, no rules.
Okay, so if there were no law or no rules and you could metal detect anywhere in the world, where would it be? Or treasure hunt, or, you know.
Oh, gosh.
We asked some hard questions.
Hard to say. But, I mean, I would honestly like to, I like to go to England and just find, like, hammered coins or Roman coins. I mean, those are really high on my list, and I would be really content doing that. I guess that doesn't have anything to do with laws, but money-wise, I guess.
Yeah.
I got to play the lottery for that.
Yeah. That's on my bucket list as well. Yeah, we say no laws, no rules because, you know, some people like to think, you know, the White House grounds, then some of the battlefields.
Yeah, it came across my mind, the White House, but then I was like, no, I think I'd rather go to England.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Right.
And plus, less people would be watching me, too.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Well, we appreciate you being on here, and y'all be sure and check out her YouTube channel. And I just checked, and I've been a subscriber, I guess, for quite a while. So I need to start watching more of your videos. I'm bad about keeping up with everybody's videos anymore.
Oh, it's hard. I know. We all get busy in our life. It's all right. You subscribe, so I appreciate that. Appreciate everything. Thanks for having me on, you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we thank you. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight, and be sure and you can share tonight's podcast with your friends and let them know, and be sure and check out her YouTube channel. And thanks again all for listening, and you all have a great night. Good night, all.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.